I think I'm live. Are you live?
Of course I'm live.
Hey,
I'm super
hello.
live. Hi.
Yeah. How
How
are
are we
you?
doing? I'm doing just fine. Thank you very much.
Good. Are you sad that this is our last stream of the hellish year that is 2020?
Uh, I'm I'm not sad that it's the end of the year. I am a bit sad that, well, I mean, we're gonna do one in 2 weeks' time. Like we're gonna skip Christmas Eve, I'm
Yep.
sure.
Yep.
Um, Unless you want to stream wrapping presents. I don't know.
Well, I don't know about you, but like my Christmas Eve is usually me just slamming wine the whole time. I mean, that's isn't that what you're supposed to do on Christmas Eve now as an adult?
Sure.
Yeah.
Whatever gets you through the day.
Wait, I thought that was the morning. Yay. Anyway, but yeah. Who are you? As we haven't even done our intros yet.
We haven't done our introductions yet. So my name is Paul Tchaikovsky. I'm kind of a big deal, and you should know who I am. If you don't know who I am a developer advocate at VMware, and I'm not really a big deal. I just say that to make myself feel better about my insignificance.
Yeah. And hi, I'm JJ. I'm a developer advocate for the IBM Cloud, and Paul and I stream pretty regularly on Thursdays to do some cloud native things. And we just kind of use this opportunity to learn some stuff. If you're just tuning in for the first time, you have quite a few videos to watch because I've collected them all and they're on YouTube. But we usually just kind of come away with something to, just opportunity to learn. And normally I'd ask Paul how to do this anyway. And we figured, what the hell, let's go ahead and stream it and get some content out of it too, right?
That's right.
Yeah. Yep.
So speaking of which, what are we doing today? I am super unprepared, so I hope it's something relatively easy.
Yes. So if historically speaking, we have played with Helm charts to deploy applications on to Kubernetes clusters. That's kind of where we've always kind of sat. And I have gotten very comfortable with external DNS and how to get it to work.
Right. And that would be doing Helm install external DNS?
Pretty much. And then adding like a key here and there.
Sure.
And then I went back and I did it by hand just because I still need to know, like, abstractions are great and all, but sometimes you need to know how the sausage is made. And to prove to myself that I understood how it worked, I got external DNS working with DN Simple, which is my DNS provider of choice. And that worked great. Paul did notice an error, which was that I was doing it by service, not ingress.
Yeah, the default manifests only look at services, and you're supposed to, if you want to do ingress, which most people do, you have to add a second source line for ingress.
Yep. And so I feel very comfortable with that now, which is great. And that also allows, because now we have ingress with subdomains, I guess. So I can have multiple things running on this Kubernetes cluster. But the next natural progression is obviously getting cert-manager to do what I want.
Yeah.
So I tried to do it by myself from the ground up, and it just was not having it. Like I could not do it. You watched the video. I spent about an hour and a half a handful of weeks ago that when CZ couldn't join me. So I just ripped my hair out trying to figure the damn thing out. So today what we're going to do is I'm gonna drive, kind of walk through what I would do trying to get cert-manager to work. I have a simple nginx deployment with just HTTPS on it. So my goal is to get like nginx.asgardlabs.io with HTTPS working. That's it.
Cool. All right, that's it. That's
get that working. Yep.
All right.
That's cool. All right. So let me change over to my screen. Where the hell are you, Zoom? Share screen. And hopefully that kicks over. It looks like it did. And as you can see here, I have a Kubernetes cluster with a handful of things inside of it. Okay, delete ns Atlantis. because we don't need that anymore. We learned that was a mistake. Okay, so if you've never seen it before, cert-manager. This is cert-manager. It is a way to do Let's Encrypt, as we were saying earlier, very easily. cert-manager.io.docs. And as you can see here, the installation on Kubernetes is pretty straightforward. You just apply the 1.1 cert-manager YAML here. I believe it actually creates its own namespace too. So it kind of sits inside of a cert-manager namespace, so you don't have to step on anything else, which is what we want, because namespaces are important on Kubernetes. So let's go ahead and take that. Oops, that is not what I wanted to show. Let's grab this and then apply this manifest. We get some CRDs. Paul, what's a CRD?
It's a custom resource definition. It is basically a way to extend the Kubernetes API to accept resources, well, resource requests that it doesn't necessarily know about. And that way you can then implement a controller that then manages those and takes requests from the CRDs.
Okay. That seems important.
Yeah. And so you can see we're getting a couple of custom resource definitions for doing certificates. So once this is installed, you can say kubectl, give me a certificate, and it will work with cert-manager to create a certificate for you.
Assuming it ever installs. This seems oddly long.
It does.
And I believe I have. Go ahead.
Probably your first thing is I would have wgetted that file and then done the apply.
I was doing what the instructions told me to do.
You know, there's blindly following the instructions and then making your own life a little bit simpler.
Should we go ahead and put a PR in and be like, get this down first? Don't be a dick. Oh, it really is just sitting there, isn't it?
Yeah. So here's the thing, right? You don't know if it's an issue because it's not downloading the file or if it's not applying it to Kubernetes because you're doing the two in one go.
Yeah, there it is right there. Yeah. So we're stuck.
Now, there's a bunch of custom resource definitions that cert-manager installs. There's more than just the two. So I'm guessing it's for some reason stuck at doing the CRDs. So
this is desired state. So I can control C and run the local one now. And
yeah,
do it, right?
absolutely. So why don't you do a kubectl get CRD?
Kubectl get CRD. It's all monitoring.
So it has installed more than just what it was showing. And they're all today. Wait, no. Dude.
Grep.
Dude, like
12.
You need to start getting clean clusters. You've already had cert-manager on this cluster.
Oh, I have, haven't I? Crap.
So not only have you had cert-manager on here, but you might have resources that are already certificate resources and stuff, which means getting back to a clean state is going to be a bit more painful than it needs to be. So do kubectl get certificate. Don't just do that. Have a reasonable idea that you don't have any certificates. Do a -- all namespaces. Okay. So hopefully that means you don't have any certificates being managed. So I would do, and the thing is, you don't know what version of this you installed. So just doing a delete from the manifest you just downloaded isn't necessarily going to get everything.
Is there a way for me to find the version?
Well, the version of the actual state may not match the state you have in the file. So just deleting from the file isn't necessarily going to translate to the cluster. So
It
unless
seems really brittle.
What do you mean?
Well, I mean, like, I can't be the only person who's like installed something, delete it, and then come back and be like, oh, I actually do need it, and then move versions, and it
Yeah,
has
but
problems.
here's the thing though, right? If you've installed something using a set of manifests and those manifests change, like upstream, you can't just delete the newest version of the manifest and expect that it's the same, because
I guess
maybe
it's true.
there's an old resource that doesn't exist anymore in the new manifest. How's it going to know to delete that? So probably what we can do is we can probably do a kubectl delete namespace cert-manager.
There's no cert-manager.
Well, where did you install cert-manager?
There's nothing in
Do I get pods -- all namespace? And and then grab that for cert, CERT.
Nope.
All right. Go ahead and do a delete from that manifest. You're probably okay.
Maybe it was just not outputting things.
No, because those dates were from November of the CRDs. So what I would do now is, since you're just in your home directory, why don't you go ahead and create a directory for this stream, and we'll get that manifest in there.
All right, here you go.
All right. So go ahead and apply this, and we'll see what happens.
Oh, it's happy now.
All right. So change to the cert-manager namespace and do a get pods. And I think we get 2 or 3 pods. Yes, you've got cert-manager itself. You've got the webhook and the certificate injector. So the webhook, I believe, is for a validating admission controller. And that way it can kind of validate that you're asking for same things. And the CA injector is a thing that lets you use manifests to inject CAs into other resources.
Okay, so hold on. I have a couple questions.
Yeah.
So the webhook would be if I was doing an HTTP authentication?
No. So the webhook is for a validating admission controller webhook.
Okay.
If you scroll up and look at the resources that were applied.
This guy? No. Manage controller?
No, you're looking for validating controller config or something along those lines. So it's not a CRD, it's not a service account, it's not a cluster role binding. Yeah, at the bottom here. So the mutating webhook configuration, validating webhook configuration. So if you do a wget on that, not a wget, a kubectl get -o YAML.
Kubectl get this -o YAML.
Yeah.
There's a CA bundle.
Right. And so basically what happens is anytime you pass a resource of type certificate, it will pass it through these webhooks and validate that it's correct, and also potentially mutate it if it knows how to fix it.
Oh, so it's a local sanity check?
Exactly. Yeah.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Now this is a service. So if I go to NSDNS real quick, Stern external.
So it's not a service of type load balancer, so it's not going to see anything.
Oh, okay. Okay. So it didn't add anything to DNS for us.
No.
No. Okay. All right.
And it's also not something you would expose outside of the.
Oh, I guess it's true. Yeah. Right. Okay. Cert-manager. Okay. Cool. I just wanted to. I'm running it through my head, right? Like we've gone through this quite a few times. I should know how to do this, but I don't.
Yeah, that's fine. And so if you do a get pods again.
Everything's running.
Yeah. And so the CA injector, what that will do is go ahead and open that webhook config again. Yeah. And so you see this has a CA in it, right? A CA bundle. So when you apply a set of manifests, right, they all apply at once. And so if you say I need a certificate and I need its CA to be inside of this manifest, there's no way to do that. Just using Kubernetes.
One more time. Wait, one more time.
Right. So the CA bundle here is for a self-signed certificate.
Okay. Yes. Okay.
Right.
Sure.
So if you want cert-manager to create a certificate, you need to send a certificate resource to cert-manager. But you can't do that in the same kubectl apply as you apply this because you don't know what the CA is yet. Right? And so this thing that Kubernetes has of like, we don't do ordering, we don't do orchestration, just fire and forget, it fails here because in their infinite wisdom, whoever wrote this and a bunch of other resources decided to have the CA bundle as an item in the manifest as opposed to externalized in a config map or a secret. So if it was in a config map or secret, they could just have the resource wait until that config map or secret is ready and then load it up. But because it's part of the manifest itself, it can't do that. So what cert-manager can do is you can set an annotation in a webhook that says, get me the CA from and provide a secret. And when cert-manager sees that, it will grab that CA and stick it in the right spot. And so that then solves the problem. So if you're applying this and you want the certificate from cert-manager, you apply that annotation and you just don't list the CA bundle at all. And that will basically tell cert-manager to go and fill it in. And it also means because you're not setting it, if you do a kubectl apply at a later date, you're not going to override it back to like an empty string or to something else.
Oh, okay. Okay. So
that's kind of the two other pods. And then the third pod is certificate manager itself.
So all this engineering was to deal with a chicken and egg problem that could have been fixed by a config map originally, but because that config map wasn't there, they put it here to be able to take care of the CA bundle that you need.
Basically, yeah. So cert-manager is solving a problem that Kubernetes created and refuses to solve itself.
Engineers, man.
Right?
Engineers. finally get a hard problem, and we're like, no, we're going to deal with something else.
Yeah.
Okay. So if I look at stern or get pods, stern, this should be all nice and healthy, right?
Yep.
Yep. Nothing too interesting here.
Right. So why don't you now do a kubectl get certificates? And then just do that again with dash all namespaces. Okay, so I just wanted to confirm there's no existing certificates.
Got it.
So we want to create a certificate, right? Maybe bring up the cert-manager docs and we'll start going through the different types of certificates you can create. So I would imagine on the left-hand screen, hit up tutorials. And then
this one?
No, we just want to look for like using like a standard self-signed certificate before we get too carried away. Don't go to installation; it's not going to help us. Really, they don't have it in tutorials. Okay. In that case, we might need to go to the API reference docs.
What?
We'll try usage. Okay, try usage. Fine. Certificate resources. All right.
This is asking for a basic certificate.
So this is what we're looking for. So basically, if you just want a self-signed certificate, you don't really care. You can basically do this.
All this?
So why don't you copy and paste this into a temporary document, and we'll clean it up a little bit and try and get to the bare minimum. So just like self-signed. So all right. Well, before you do that, let's just pare down the self-signed certificate to be like the bare minimum, because there's a bunch of fluff in there, right?
Oh, really? Okay. All right.
All right. So right up the top. So that's fine. You know what? Just go ahead and apply this, and let's look at the actual certificate resource we get. Okay. Oh, right. So okay. So why not just call it sandbox? Create a namespace called sandbox. Right. Well, yeah. Now do a kubectl get certificate in the sandbox namespace. Right, so the certificate is there. It is not ready. So you can now do kget certificate request. No dashes in resource types. No, it's just a single certificate request. It's standard. It's like doing stateful set or anything like that.
Okay.
Right, and so there it has certificate request, and that request isn't ready either. So if you do that with do kget, I think it's orders, ORDES. No. do a kget certificate request -o YAML.
This right here.
All right. Cool. It says issuer not found. CA issuer. All right. So let's open this up. Obviously, it is not actually what they gave us isn't useful. So let's stick with the self-signed one. Let's get that right, and then we'll worry about doing something else.
Yeah, this is
the original file.
Oh, okay.
In fact, just go ahead and RM the Ashgar Labs one, just so it's not there and confusing. All right. Look for issuer. It'll probably be right down the bottom. Yeah. So I think we can say where we have the name, I think we can do something like self-signed, but maybe go back to the docs. I assumed that was what they were going to give us. Just do a search for self-signed. CA and self-signed issuer will always return certificates matching. Okay, pop up to the documentation and just up top right-hand side, there's a search. Do self-signed there. Here's what we need to do. So we need to create this issuer.
This right here?
Yep. So create
Is it called the same thing?
file. Well, this is an issuer, not a certificate. So do I don't know, call it just self-signed -issuer. Paste this in.
Like that?
Yeah, don't save it yet though. Change the kind to be cluster issuer. So just capital C cluster. Yep. And then I would change the name just to self-signed because who cares? Right. And then because it's a cluster issuer, we can get rid of the namespace. And then save this.
Nothing in here?
Nothing in here. And so now apply that. Right. And now stop. Oh, I see what you're doing. All right. So now the self-signed cert, we want to edit that. And then issuer ref, change that to be self-signed. Is that what we called it?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And then the issuer, the kind, change to cluster issuer. Yep. And then pop down. Yeah, that's fine. All right. So save this and then reapply. Right. And now do a kget certificate. Right. Certificate request. 21 1 second. So just we'll do a -o YAML. Just make sure it hasn't got an error in there or a waiting for statement. Cluster issuer, self-sign not found. Do a kget cluster issuer. No dash.
Mm. Yay.
All right. So if you now do a kget secret, and you can see example com TLS. So that's the secret it created. So do a kget -o YAML of that secret.
Oh, secret slash.
Yeah. Secret space, secret slash, whichever you prefer.
This looks right.
Yeah. And so
Here's our
what
key.
you're looking for is the key. So there'll be a
Cert.
ca.cert, a tls.cert, and a tls.key, right?
Yep. It's all there.
Yep. And so if you wanted to speak to something signed by this, you could grab that CA cert and tell it to trust that, and you'd be able to curl or whatever against it.
Cool.
So if you have, say, nginx, you could mount that secret as a directory and configure nginx to use that path to get its certificates. And that would let you secure the communication inside of the nginx pod.
Nice.
And in fact, maybe if you pop through to the tutorials now. So we don't want nginx ingress. I was hoping they would have a securing nginx itself. Scroll down. Nope. So do you want to attach that to a pod and actually secure the pod itself, or do you want to just pop straight into doing a service or a?
So I mean, I guess it makes sense for us to do a self-sign cert. But we've done that in the past.
Yeah, but so we're just working our way up, right?
Yeah. Okay.
So if you can't create a self-sign cert, you won't be able to create a HTTP cert, right?
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
So this is
yeah,
just validating the install all the way up.
Yep.
So that's why I'm like, do you want to try and just secure an nginx pod with this, or do you want to move on to actually creating a real certificate? Now that we know that it's working.
Let's secure the self-sign cert.
Okay, cool. So first of all, we'll need to have an nginx pod. And so I would go to Docker Hub.
This thing?
No, I'd rather go to Docker Hub and actually write one. Search for nginx. Yeah. And then go to tags. And I think there should be just do a word search for root. So I think there's a rootless one that can help with. No. All right. Is there a Alpine or another smallish stable Alpine? All right. So go ahead and do a kubectl create deployment stable Alpine.
Image equals nginx stable.
Actually, just do stable. Don't worry about Alpine, because I don't know if the Alpine has all the TLS stuff.
Do I want to do this in the sandbox namespace?
You're in the sandbox namespace, aren't you?
Yeah, I am.
Yeah. Yeah, name, and then hit enter. Yep. So why don't you go ahead and do a kubectl expose.
Is it deployment nginx like that?
Something like that. Do you have to specify ports? Dash dash port equals 80 and dash dash port equals 443. Okay. Get. Oh, I think we want to do type load balancer. Oh, interesting. I only let you specify one port. We'll go ahead and just do a edit on the, because using expose is imperative. So if you do
it is
create
okay.
a second one.
SVC nginx.
Just pop down to the bottom. It's
Type.
Yep. Capital L, capital B. I think.
Yep, that's right. Should I add the other ports here too?
Add the other port as well, yeah.
So?
Yep. Oh, you have to provide a name if you're doing more than one.
There you go.
Right.
Okay.
So now if you do a curl on that external IP port 80, you should get a response.
Yep.
All right. 443 will probably fail. Yeah.
Refused.
Right, because nginx isn't configured to use a certificate.
Yes, makes sense.
So that's the next thing we need to do. So we need to mount it into a, we need to mount that secret into a volume. So let's go ahead and figure that out. So do a kubectl get nginx and output it to a file.
Yep.
Right. And then, so we want to mount a volume from a secret. So you might want to open up some docs because I never remember my syntax properly. That secrets one will probably do it. Just do a word search for volume.
There's quite a few places with volume in here. All right, volume amounts. Here we go.
Yeah, there we go.
Volumes, my secrets.
So yeah, let's do that. And that goes at the same level as containers. So right there above containers in your spec, so you can see it there. Stick it right there and just make sure it's lined up right.
Of course it's not. That'd be too easy. Looks right.
That's right. That should be next to under the N. And then the next S should be under the, yep, you got it. Nope.
No? Oh, yep. There you go. Okay.
The secret name should be indented across. Yep, that's better.
Okay, so the name of this should be
certs.
Certs.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, whatever's easier. And then the secret name should be self-signed. What did we call the secret?
This one?
Yeah, that one.
That?
Yep. And then in the container spec, we need to add a volumes from. So at the same
volume
level.
Mount.
Volume mount, that's it. And at the same level as image. Or name. Yeah, or any of those. Nearly. Okay, and so the name was just certs. And then the mount path is, let's do Etsy SSL self for now. We'll figure it out and change it later if we need to. All right, so go ahead and save that. And do a kubectl apply on it. That's fine. Just mad because we did the create initially. So now if you do a kubectl get pods, it should have rolled.
Yep.
Right. So now our secret's in there, but we're not using it yet. So why don't you Google for configure nginx to use certificates? And we'll see if it comes up with a DigitalOcean tutorial.
Almost. Second one.
All right, well, let's go with that one for old time's sakes. Oh, and scroll back up. Right up to the top. Choose a different version or distribution. I think it's some kind of Ubuntu or Debian, so go ahead and pick either of those. Cool. Now we want to look for basically the config.
Should we break into the container and see if this thing exists?
Yeah, let's do that. So just the usual kubectl exec. All right, so it looks like we're looking for confd instead of snippets. So doing it. Yeah. Just do a cat of default. Let's just see what's in there. Yeah, good luck. I think cat's usually pretty safe. All right. So it's all port 80. So why don't you go ahead and grab that, and we'll put this into a config map, and we'll mount the config map in as well.
This whole thing?
Yeah.
Oh, crap.
You know what we should do? Exit out of the container and then hit up, and then change your command to be cat/etc nginx confd and whatever the file name was.
Like that?
Sure. All right, now vim default.conf.
Nice. There we go.
Now we can start putting in SSL bits. So at the top, we got that listen. Clearly, we want to also listen to 443. Can you do commas like that?
I have no idea. Oh, here we go. This is what we want. This right here. All right. All this stuff.
Well, we haven't got the other stuff. I was going to try and keep it easy and just keep it in the one file. So grab the two listens. Right, and then it's got the self-signed and the SSL params. So if you just scroll back up. So we want that SSL params. Oh yeah, grab that. That's a good start. And then I don't know if it cares about the tabbing, but we might as well keep it. And then do you remember what did we do? Etsy SSL. Well, hang on, we need to fix the paths.
Mm-hmm. This is all self.
Perfect. So grab that. Yeah, and then the actual files will be tls.cert and tls.key.
Like that?
Yep. So now
That
we
can't
need
be
to
it.
grab. No, we also need the SSL settings.
Oh, that's all this stuff down here.
Yeah.
Just grab them all.
I don't know that we need to resolve this stuff. Just grab it and we can pull them out if we need to.
Like that?
Yeah, just grab that block and tab it across. Cool. Now, if we save this, we need to do another volume mount in. Well, first of all, let's turn this into a config map. So do a kubectl create config map. Call it nginx -conf. And then space. Well, you need to do from.
Oh, yeah.
And dash from dash file and nginx default.conf. If you did a space, you can tab it.
Like that?
Yeah. All right.
Is it okay with all these weird characters in it?
We'll find out. I got to ask, why does your text editor do Windows style command?
Didn't. That's when we created it. If you see down here in DOS, it was created that way.
Yeah. Oh, like, yeah, okay. Weird. It's probably fine. If not, we'll deal with it. So now we want to edit the nginx YAML again and go to your volumes and create a new one called config, and then change it to config map, probably with a capital M. Yeah, and then I think this one is just name. Yep.
Right.
And then we need to do the volume mounts. Yep. And then that was, what was it? Etsy, nginx, conf.
Okay.
I'm just trying to think if that's going to work. Will that just overwrite because the actual config file is etsy nginx conf /nginx.conf. If you put it in D, will it just overwrite it, or will it try and append and confuse things?
Yeah, well.
Yeah. So now the other thing here is there's a way to mount the specific file. Otherwise, it's going to take over that whole directory.
Mm-hmm.
And there's probably other config items in that directory you don't want to override.
Yeah.
So if you go back to where we had the secrets, it'll be in there somewhere. There we go. Keys to specific paths.
Yeah.
Yep. I think this is right. And it goes in volumes, not volume mounts. Right? Yeah.
Yes.
Is it nginx.conf? And path will be nginx.conf.
Yeah.
Yep, I think that'll do us.
We can change this to config's fine, right?
Yep. All right. So go ahead and save and apply this. Uh-oh. love Kubernetes log errors.
Mm.
Why don't you go ahead and just do a kubectl delete deployment nginx and then apply it again. So it should be quicker than that. Do a kubectl get pod -o YAML. Make sure it hasn't got a bad status. Or describe might be better.
Pending.
Describe pod.
God, I always forget that.
There we go. Config map references non-existing config key. So have a look
Oh, it's
at
default. Wasn't it config map? Hang on. Wasn't the thing, the key is default.conf.
You are correct. Wait, no, you need to change it in both spots. No, the path. Right after the key that you change, there's also the path.
Oh.
Yeah.
In quotes, right?
There's no need to quote it. It's YAML, so it knows it's a string.
Okay. There we go.
All right. So now do a curl. On 80. Okay.
80 worked.
So 8 worked on 80, but do 443 one more time. Okay. So let's exec in and have a look at what we've done wrong.
Can we go look at the error to see what's going on? Maybe it's, oh crap. Come on.
Just nginx is fine. Stone will auto complete the rest.
What's wrong? Like, doesn't have the same location we have in the file, right?
Oh, shit. Was it supposed to be conf D and I just screwed up? I think it was supposed to be conf D and I thought for some reason it wasn't. Yeah, so go ahead and let's edit the, yep.
Like that, right?
Yep.
Oh, really didn't like that one.
Well, that's good. That's at least we know it's reading the config and failing, right?
Hmm.
So it's a crash loop. So there's going to be an error log. So I would just stone it. Oh, it's not going to give any error log at all? Come on. All right. what's our best way to do this? Because it's crashing, so we can't even exec in. So let's edit the nginx YAML. And why don't you go ahead and remove the .d in conf and reapply that, and then we can just go look at the file in the wrong, where it's sitting in the wrong location, and see if it's something obvious. Yeah, it doesn't. It's often not a fan of changing volume paths for some reason in deployments. So I would just delete the deployment and reapply. All right. So conf is where we put it by mistake. So that's where you want to look. Do a cat of that. Yeah. All right, so that's definitely our config file, but obviously it doesn't like it, and it doesn't like it so bad that it errors. Is there an nginx config checker, like binary? Often, I know Apache has a way to do
it. -T.
Looks like it. It was like you were right there and then you scrolled past it.
Yep, there it is.
Yeah, like the
-C.
yeah.
Okay. Oh, come on, really?
Server directive is not allowed here. Oh, is that because it's so if you do do an ls of etc nginx, do a cat of nginx.conf. Yeah, okay. All right, I feel like we might be just getting lost in configuring nginx. Do we want to stop here and just figure out the ingress?
Yeah, that's fine. Actually, for that matter, I just wanted to stream for an hour anyway, and we went past an hour.
Okay.
It's okay. I feel fine. Like there's enough for me to go off on my own on this. now that cert-manager is actually running, and there's some stuff. It's fine.
Okay.
We can deal with that later. Let's see here. Let me stop sharing my screen. Okay. Well, it's unfortunate we didn't. We got the self-sign start working, or at least we got self-sign starts created. Nginx didn't quite play nice with us, but that's fine. But that's cool. It's we end like we started, halfway there.
Halfway there.
Right?
Yep. Yep, we did.
Awesome. Well, Paul, I guess I will see you streaming on
In January.
January, yes. Let me double check. I don't actually know what day it is. Hang on. The 7th. All right.
Sounds about right.
Thanks for everyone sticking around. And if you're watching this in the future, I look forward to seeing us doing some stuff in the 7th.
Bye.
Bye. Where's my mouse?